Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into something pretty interesting today. It's a report all about TATANKA. They're this global organization, and they're doing some really fascinating work over in Mauritius. I mean, we're talking about using AI for good and, really trying to make sure that this technology benefits everyone. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, it definitely caught my eye too. It's not every day you see cutting edge AI being developed, well, in a place known for beaches and vacationing, right?
Right, it's not the first place that comes to mind.
Yeah.
So maybe we should start with, the basics. What exactly is TATANKA? What are they all about?
So, at its core, Tatanka is really all about making sure that AI benefits all of humanity.
Okay, that sounds like a pretty big mission. How do they even approach something like that?
Yeah, it's ambitious for sure,
Mhm.
but they're not just talking about it. They're actually on the ground in Mauritius partnering with folks local communities, universities, even the government. And they're really putting their vision into action.
So they're walking the walk,
Uh,
not just talking the talk.
exactly. And the report dives into their approach,
Uh,
which have broken down into these three main pillars.
okay, so 3 pillars. I'm curious, what are they?
So first off, they really emphasize this idea of considering the local context. AI isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Right, what works in Silicon Valley might not work somewhere else.
Totally. So they're working closely with Mauritians to figure out what are the specific needs and values of their communities, and how can AI be shaped to meet those needs.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So what's the second pillar?
Collaboration, big time. They're bringing together all sorts of people, academics, businesses, policymakers, even everyday citizens to make sure AI development is truly inclusive.
So they're getting everyone involved. That's cool.
It is. And the third pillar focuses on those grassroots initiatives, those projects that are coming from the community level, especially those that empower underrepresented groups,
Okay, well, cool.
like women and youth, getting them involved in the tech world.
Okay, so we have these 3 pillars, but I'm having a hard time picturing what this looks like in practice.
Well, actually, the report highlights a really great example. This woman named Leela, who is a Mauritian tech innovator.
Okay, tell me about her.
So imagine this. She grows up in a small village, faces a ton of skepticism about pursuing higher education in tech, and now she's a leading force in AI training and development on the island.
Wow, that's quite a journey. She sounds like a real trailblazer.
Oh, she totally is. And she's working on this really ambitious project right now to establish a collaborative AI hub in Mauritius, with these strong ethical frameworks kind of baked into its foundation.
That's amazing. So how does her work connect to those 3 pillars we talked about?
It's actually a perfect illustration of how they work in reality. Take local context, for example. Leela really understands the unique challenges and opportunities in Mauritius. So her AI hub is specifically designed to address their local needs.
Okay, give me an example.
Let's say promoting sustainable tourism or improving healthcare access in those more rural communities.
So it's about using AI to solve those real-world problems.
Yeah, but in a way that makes sense for Mauritius, not just importing solutions from somewhere else.
So it's like a custom-made suit instead of one-size-fits-all.
Perfect analogy. And then there's the collaboration aspect. Leela's AI hub is going to be this space for dialogue, bringing together people from all these different backgrounds to brainstorm and share knowledge.
So not just tech people.
No, artists, entrepreneurs, social scientists, everyone. The idea is to make sure that AI development really reflects those diverse perspectives.
Because AI doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Exactly. It's all about the needs and values of the community it's designed to serve.
This is really fascinating. And what about those grassroots initiatives? How does Leela's work fit in there?
Well, one of her big passions is empowering young girls in underserved communities to help them pursue careers in tech.
That's awesome. How does she do that?
She runs workshops, provides mentorship, creates opportunities for hands-on experience with AI. She really understands that if we want AI to benefit everyone, everyone needs to have a seat at the table, right?
Right. It's about fairness
Right.
and making sure those diverse voices are heard.
Absolutely. And it's not just about fairness. It's also about tapping into all that talent, all those perspectives that can lead to better, more innovative AI solutions.
Like planting seeds for a more inclusive tech ecosystem.
Exactly.
So we've got these 3 pillars, and Leela's story really brings them to life. But I want to dig a little deeper into those pillars themselves. What does it actually mean to develop AI that considers the local context? And how do you make sure that collaboration is truly inclusive?
Those are great questions, and they lead us right into the heart of what makes TATANKA's work so fascinating. Let's unpack this idea of local context in AI development a bit more. When we talk about that local context in AI, it's really about recognizing that technology, isn't neutral. It's shaped by the culture, the values, even the geography of where it's developed.
So like an AI system designed to predict traffic in New York City probably wouldn't work so well in a place like Mauritius, right?
Exactly. You have to think about different transportation systems, cultural norms, even things like the weather patterns. They're all unique to that environment. And it goes beyond just functionality. Local context means thinking about those social and economic impacts too.
So how do you make sure AI benefits everyone, not just a select few?
That's where that emphasis on collaboration comes in. They're not just showing up with like prepackaged solutions. They're really working side by side with Mauritian communities to figure out what their needs are and then co-create AI systems that address those needs.
So it's a bottom-up approach.
Exactly.
So what does that look like in action? Are they like holding town hall meetings or something?
It's kind of a mix of approaches, really. They do workshops, surveys. They even partner with local artists and storytellers.
Artists and storytellers. What do they have to do with AI?
Well, sometimes you need to get creative to really understand people's hopes and concerns. Not everyone's comfortable in a formal setting.
That's a really interesting approach.
Yeah, and it's not just about inclusivity within Mauritius. TATANKA also recognizes that global collaboration is super important.
So they're sharing what they're learning with the rest of the world.
Exactly. They want to foster that kind of knowledge exchange.
So Mauritius could end up being like a model for other countries.
It's definitely possible. Okay, so we've talked about local context and collaboration. Now let's dive into those grassroots initiatives.
Yeah. What are some specific examples of those projects they're supporting?
One big focus is on bridging that digital divide, making sure everyone has access to technology and digital literacy training.
So like what they're setting up computer labs in rural villages?
Yeah, things like that. They're partnering with local organizations to set up those labs and coding workshops to give young people the skills they need for the digital economy.
So they're really trying to level the playing field.
Exactly. And they're also supporting projects that use AI to address those really specific social and environmental challenges that Mauritius faces.
Okay, so give me an example.
Well, for example, they funded this project to develop an AI-powered system to monitor coral reef health.
Oh, wow. That's important for their tourism industry, right?
Huge. And for the ecosystem, of course. They're also supporting a project that's using AI to optimize renewable energy production.
So they're thinking about the long term, too.
Absolutely.
This is all really cool, but let's go back to Leela for a second. We were talking about her creating that AI hub. What will that hub actually do?
Well, it's still early days, but she has this really bold vision. She wants it to be this place where, technology meets creativity, but with social impact.
So it's not just about building cool tech, it's about making a difference.
Exactly. She sees this hub as a way to, incubate startups that are developing AI solutions for all sorts of things, like healthcare, education, agriculture, even environmental conservation.
It sounds like she's trying to build a better future for Mauritius.
Yeah, and crucially, she wants this hub to be a model for ethical and inclusive AI development, a place where everyone has a voice.
Okay, this is all really inspiring. But the report does mention some potential challenges, right?
Of course, nothing's ever easy. One key challenge is making sure that their work really benefits everyone in Mauritius.
But I thought they were already focusing on inclusivity.
They are, but it's a constant effort. Mauritius has, historical inequalities that are difficult to overcome. So TATANKA needs to be really careful that their projects don't accidentally make those existing disparities even worse.
So they've got to be mindful of those unintended consequences.
Exactly. Another challenge is brain drain.
What's that?
It's when talented people leave to find better opportunities elsewhere. Mauritius has great tech professionals, but a lot of them are drawn to bigger economies.
So they have to find a way to keep those people in Mauritius.
Yeah, they need to create an environment where those folks see a future there.
So are there any other hurdles?
Yeah, probably the biggest one is funding. Developing and deploying AI solutions, it's expensive, especially for a smaller nation like Mauritius.
So they need to find the money to make it all happen.
Exactly. Public funding, private funding, all of it.
It sounds like they're facing some pretty big challenges.
They are, but the potential rewards are huge. If they can pull this off, it could be a model for the whole world.
It's really inspiring to see their dedication. But let's zoom out a bit. Why should the rest of the world care about this? What can we learn from what's happening in Mauritius?
That's a great question, and it gets at the heart of why this report is so interesting. Mauritius might be a small island, but it's offering a big lesson for the world. about how to develop AI in a way that's both ethical and innovative.
It's easy to get swept up in all the AI hype. But what's happening in Mauritius really gives you a different perspective.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that we actually have a choice in how we shape this technology.
So what are the big takeaways here?
Yeah.
What can the rest of the world learn from Mauritius?
Well, I think one of the biggest lessons is the value of that human-centered approach. Instead of just letting technology run wild, Mauritius is really thinking about the needs and values of its people first.
So it's about asking the right questions.
Yeah, like how can AI improve healthcare or protect the environment? How can it help those marginalized communities?
So we're putting people first
Hmm.
and letting technology serve human progress.
Exactly. And another key takeaway is that importance of collaboration.
They're really embracing that in Mauritius.
Oh, absolutely. TATANKA gets it. They know they don't have all the answers. So they're bringing in all these different voices, local communities, businesses, even artists.
It's about getting that diversity of thought,
Right. And making sure those benefits of AI are shared widely.
like bridging the digital divide and empowering young people.
Particularly girls to get involved in the tech world.
It's pretty amazing what they're doing over there. But is Mauritius just a special case? Can this model really work in other parts of the world?
That's the big question, right? It definitely won't be easy. Every country has its own unique challenges.
Right, different contexts, different needs.
Exactly. But Mauritius is showing us that it is possible. You can create a tech ecosystem that really prioritizes human well-being and social justice and sustainability.
It's like they're leading the way.
Yeah, they're a real beacon of hope, showing that a different path is possible.
It's inspiring, for sure.
And it's a call to action for the rest of the world to really think about our own assumptions about AI
To question the status quo.
and start demanding more from the tech we create.
Because we do have a choice in how we shape the future of AI.
Absolutely. We can choose profit over people, or we can use this technology to build a better world.
A world that's more just, more equitable, more sustainable.
And those choices we make today, they'll have a huge impact for generations to come.
This has been a really eye-opening deep dive. We've learned so much about what's happening in Mauritius and about the possibilities for ethical and inclusive AI development.
It's been a great conversation.
As we wrap up, I have a question for you, the listener. If you could use AI to solve a problem in your community, what would it be? What kind of change do you want to see?
It's something to think about. The power to shape AI is in our hands. Let's use it wisely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.